know if Hi, it's Phil. I don't know if I will do any other broadcasts about my health, but I want to talk about that. I mean, first, let's take a look at this amazing work in progress from Journey. This is for Hannah Carlton's next module. I'm really looking forward to it, um, and I'm looking forward to the completed painting. But now let's talk about health, because a lot of my favorite so-called nerds, so-called geeks, a lot of the people, a lot of the people whose work I admire, and a lot of the people I'm friends with, um, are fat, if not obese, and that applies to me 100%. So I made some changes. I want to talk about those changes, and I don't want to encourage you to make the same exact changes I made because everybody's different, but I want to encourage you to make some kind of change. Um, so the first change I made is that I went to see the doctor, and I had avoided that for years. Um, and the doctor prescribed two great blood pressure medications for me. And let me tell you, my doctor's a cool customer. Um, his name's Dr. Ghani, Dr. Abdul Ghani, and he did not say, "Oh shit, Phil, you're gonna have a stroke anytime." But my blood pressure was something like 185 over 114, and he was pretty fucking scared. Um, I could tell because of the smooth way that he prescribes the meds, and he tells me straight up, first we have to take care of your blood pressure. He writes me a couple of prescriptions. I might even talk about these meds in a moment, but he also says, and by the way, no big deal. I've got some baby aspirin too. I've got some sample sizes, and you just take one a day, and yeah, just do that too. Yeah, the use of baby aspirin, you know, it's used to ward off heart attacks or to make them, less dangerous when they happen. So that's a kind of danger. That's the kind of danger I was in from that high blood pressure and my other negative markers. My pre-diabetic, I think it's the A1C that was 6.5, possibly diabetic, depending on who you talk to. You know, um, so I was right on the edge of getting diabetes. Yay! My doctor was scared shitless that maybe I would die. you know, before he'd known me for a year. And yeah, so I got some pretty good meds. And let me tell you how I know that they're good meds. And this is the start of my journey. When I started taking those blood pressure meds, by the second day, I felt great. I hadn't begun to really exercise that much, so it wasn't exercise. I hadn't changed my diet. It was just the blood pressure meds themselves, and they were relieving my blood pressure. Um, so that helped me a lot. So fine, I'll give a shout out to amlodipine, Besilate, mwah, and Carvedillo. Those two are great. My doctor has, since that meeting, I've seen him a couple times since, and he's doubled my dosage, and I still feel fine. 5 milligrams of amlodipine and 25 of Carvedillo now. But let me give a negative review to another med since we're here. He doubled that dosage because the other med I was taking on a subsequent visit, he thought my salt was too high, and he wanted to lower that, and he thought my blood pressure was still too high, and he wanted to lower it. So he prescribed Lisinopril. That one has a lot of negative reviews. Go ahead and look it up. A lot of people cough on it. That's how it happened to me. I got I got diarrhea, then constipation, then diarrhea again, and I felt fatigued, and it's because it's a diuretic. It takes salt out of your body. All right, maybe I'm getting a little too deep, but I'm just saying, even the blood pressure meds themselves made me feel better, made me feel a hell of a lot better. And those blood pressure meds made it possible for me to exercise without feeling shitty. That's so I started doing that. Modest exercise, 15 minutes twice a day on an exercise bicycle, a stationary exercise bicycle in my study. That's it. Study's my fancy word for man cave, by the way, now that I take a look at this place. So I started exercising. And then I bought my doctor's book. And because, he told me that in his book, he could essentially give me or anybody more direction than just what he could give in a 5 or 10 minute visit. And that's true. So the biggest thing I took from his book was the elimination of most carbs from my diet. That's the elimination of things we usually think of as carbs. Breads of all type, even wheat bread, potatoes, rice, all these things I eliminated from my diet. And that's when I started looking at a ketogenic diet, because I'm like, what is my doctor telling me to eat? He's telling me to eat lots of non-starchy vegetables, and he's telling me not to eat carbohydrates. But he wanted my diet to consist more of fish and beans than other meats. So that was a little too hard for me. So I started looking at a ketogenic diet. And when I start, and since I've been by the way, ketogenic diet is a diet that is low in carbohydrates, in which you eat a moderate amount of protein, and in which you eat, and that's basically it. There's another, you can eat high fats on the diet. And to some degree, you need to eat fats to have enough calories to do things. But if you're trying to lose weight, the basic metabolic rules still apply. Calories in, calories out. If I spent all day gorging myself on cheese on this diet, I wouldn't lose any weight. But I do have to eat some fats to satiate myself, to feel full. So right now what I'm eating is a lot of greens, a lot of greens. Pro tip, at least sometimes cook your greens a little bit. Don't cook them to death, but cook them, because it's hard to eat a lot of greens. Try eating 3 or 4 cups of greens on basically 2 different meals per day. That it's really hard. But if you cook them down a little bit, especially spinach, it's a lot more manageable. Yeah. So greens, a moderate amount of protein, and some amount of fat. There's a lot more details that go into it, and I'm not going to say that this is even right for everybody. I actually don't think it is, but it's working for me, and it's working wonderfully. I had breakfast this morning with Journey's wife. She and I told her, I stayed with Journey and his wife at their house last night. So I told her over breakfast that before I made these changes in my life, I had never felt energetic before. I felt excited about things. You know, is this new movie coming out? Is this project coming along? That kind of thing. But I never felt just a sense of energy. I feel it now. You know, I'd always been, you know, what kind of low energy. um, and it's amazing. It's amazing to feel this way. And it's a combination of the drugs, the exercise I'm doing, and this diet. What else? What else can I tell you? This diet has made it possible for me to not be controlled by food. You know, and it's not that I don't love food. You know, a week ago I was eating with some Orlando friends. You know, at this Indian restaurant, and I had the most delicious lamb chops. You know, I was loving those things, but I was able to stop. I didn't order another set of lamb chops. You know, I forget whether it was the waiter or the chef who suggested it. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. You know, now I did order before everybody else, but that's because I was hungry. And you know, sorry guys. But the point is, I can eat now, and I stop at a reasonable point. You know, at least a reasonable point for me. You know, and the proof in that is it's not just the weight that I've lost, you know, but I have lost weight. But I haven't lost lean body mass. I haven't lost muscle. You know, I'm losing weight from my belly. You know, it's some of the worst weight you can have. Maybe, well, I'm losing fat from my belly. You know, and that it's visible. it's visible. This weight loss. So I know I'm taking in fewer calories, and yet I have a lot of energy. I don't feel, even when I'm hungry, I don't feel that hungry. You know, which I used to. I'm not tired after I eat. You know, if you've ever experienced a meat coma, that doesn't happen to me. I look forward to exercise. I never thought I would. You know, but I do, and it's not an intellectual thing. It's my body being hungry for exercise, kind of like I used to be hungry for food. Now, I like food. I still appreciate it. I think I've got a pretty good palate. You know, I cook some nice stuff at home, but I'm not dominated by it like I was. You know, I'm so much better at sensing when I'm full, you know, than I used to be. You know, and again, it's this diet. You know, yeah. So, now if I can talk just a little bit about perhaps my opposite number, which is my mother. You know, she eats a high carb diet, but for the longest time, I think probably ever since she was a little girl, she had the discipline to be able to stop eating. So my mother has never developed insulin resistance or anything like that. Yeah, she eats a high carb diet. She loves her bread and cake and cookies and all that stuff. But my mother has this iron will. She'll be like, no, I will not eat more of that. You know, one cookie, not two. If she happens to eat fast food, she always throws away the bottom bun. You know, she's not going to eat both buns. That's crazy. You know, you don't have to have that much bread as much as she likes it. You know, and so with her ability to moderate what she eats so well, she's fine. And those of you who are listening to this, if you have that ability, you're probably fine too. You know, but for me, it didn't work that way. You know, I've probably had insulin resistance for a long time. I would eat my cells wouldn't accept the insulin, with coming in with the food, and at least it wouldn't accept all of it. And my body would read that as, well, you better eat some more, kid. And so that's what I would do, and then that would just make things worse, because that would produce more insulin trying to break into the cells. The cells are like, we're full, and we don't need you, insulin. And it's like, what's insulin going to do? So it was a vicious cycle for me. And the trigger is really carbohydrates. That's for me. My friends notice how much I love sandwiches, or at least I used to. I don't feel like I crave them anymore. Or even the breads. But yeah. So, anyways, I just wanted to tell you where I was. The takeaway, if you're overweight, or eating poorly, like, go see your doctor. I want all these wonderful, geeks and nerds to be in my life for a long time, and to be healthy, and I want to be healthy too. So let me tell you the good news. My blood pressure, which like 3 weeks ago, scared my doctor enough that that he slips me, some free baby aspirin. Go ahead, take this. My blood pressure is now normal. Now obviously the medicine plays a big role in that. My goal is now to lose enough weight and exercise enough that I can have normal blood pressure without the meds. And anyways, peace, everybody. I'll have something about a new story sometime soon. And that's it. Bye.